Hello, beautiful quantum warriors. Just let a few of you come into the room. All right, we have a little bit of a delay. Let me know you can hear and see me okay. I'm going to wait for a few people to come in before we start having this conversation. All right, we got people turning up. Beautiful. I haven't been on live for a while talking about narcissism, but it's really relevant and that's why I wanted to do it. So here I am, everybody. Awesome to see you, Kate. Lovely to see you. My beautiful Kate. All right, I'll give it a couple of minutes for people to come in. This is a conversation that is a pretty must-have conversation at the moment. Yana, you were just in the Q&A, in the NARC Q&A. Oh, thank you. That's so lovely of you to say that. So gorgeous. I was saying in the NARC Q&A that my hair in humidity, there's nothing I can do with it. That's why I wear it up, but I thought I'd wear it down today. It's a bit of a special day. But I put curl in and it's just gone. The challenges of Cape Trippin having so much humidity. Hi, Angela. Awesome to see you. Lovely to see you guys. All right, our numbers are building. I'll just give it another minute or so before I launch into this stuff. Oh, you're so sweet, Kate. I tell you what, straight after this, it's going up and I'm going to go jump in the swimming pool. Oh, you're dripping there as well, Rosie. Yeah, you're in lower down in Queensland, but oof, the humidity and the heat waves we've been having. Hi, Rosie. Brenda, you're so welcome. Yeah, all right. I'm going to give it another minute and then I'm going to launch. I'm going to get going, guys, about what is going on. And I've got a few notes here as well. Whoa. Isn't it hot and humid? Yeah, Nicola, it is. Central Queensland. Yes, I know it's like that there, but up here, oh, it's probably the same. It's just crazy. Okay. All right. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. I'm going to get started, guys. All right. How is narcissistic abuse and ascension deeply, deeply connected? Okay, so a few of you have been having the ascension conversation with me, and it's really important right now. And how this will have been showing up in your everyday life is people are getting triggered. So you will see that darkness is erupting, shadows are erupting, and this is happening collectively and it's happening personally. Now, narcissistic people, what are they? Okay, a narcissist is somebody who does not take responsibility for their soul and for their application to life. Narcissists are people who are in deep unconsciousness, and unconsciousness was what the ancient traditions described it as, is a few different words, but one of them is Wedico. And Wedico is the psychic virus disease of humanity, whereby a human is in separation consciousness, disconnected from prime creator, source creation, God, higher self, higher power, creator of all life force, disconnected from that and not acknowledging or knowing that I am responsible for my life. So a narcissistic person is in darkness. They're not filled with light. They're not filled with responsibility and with ownership of light. They're in darkness, and therefore what they do is they act as a parasitical being, holding everything and everybody else responsible for their life. They're the ultimate victim, and they're never wrong. They're never responsible, and they are never, ever going to work on themselves. They blame everything and everybody else, and they take from everybody and everything else. They're never a source to their own healthy creation. They're parasitical because they're cut off from prime creator source. So what's happening at the moment is we're in ascension from 3D to 5D. Now, the 3D model that this planet has been steeped in is separation consciousness. It's war, it's famine, it's disease, it's lack, it's competition. It's for me to win, you have to lose. It's everybody being pitted against each other. People not feeling like they are source-filled, eternal, immortal, infinite, spirit having a physical experience. That they're simply a mind having a physical experience, battling for their share of the goodies, and there's lack. All of this is engineered and programmed, and it's actually separation, darkness, and consciousness. Now, this planet has been steeped in separation, consciousness, and darkness, and lack, and dis-ease for a long, long, long time. What is happening right now? And we had the harmonic convergence we had back in the 80s, I think it was 87, we had a massive shift in consciousness. And really what happened at that time was we had a raising of frequency of this planet where most of the people on this planet were awake enough to, and heart-centered enough to say, we don't want war. We don't want war. And it was really only the 1% that still wanted war. And the wars were engineered in regard to them getting the majority of power and resources. Bottom line, do your own research, but it's the truth. As a race, we are not warring against each other. We've been engineered to be that. So what has happened in the last, well, really since 87, but what's been happening, the year 2000 was another point of a shift of consciousness. Then we had, there was all that stuff about 2012, which was a shift of consciousness, which was about the Mayan calendar and galactic cycles. But really, when that was rejigged, people realized it was really 2021 that we had a massive shift of consciousness, and that was December 21st. And there was all sorts of alignments and things that happened for a shift of consciousness. Now, this shift of consciousness has been going on since the 80s in a really big way. And the reason is because it's to do with cycles. And to do with the cycles, we have cycles at the moment. We have a 25,000 year cycle of where our galaxy literally is revolving around a central sun, which is Alcyon. And Alcyon is a central sun of a high frequency. Now, it shines a beam. That's known as the photon belt, and the photon belt is a beam of light. Now, in that beam of light, you might have heard, those of you hearing about 3D to 5D ascension and shifts and all that kind of thing, you might have heard conversations about the photon belt and what happens in the photon belt. And what it's about light. It's about light codes. And within light codes is source creation. And if you understand them, we've been taught a very limited model of source creator, that it's like a figure who is an outer personality that rules over us, that we have to bow to, rather than when we look at it at a galactic perspective and of a multidimensional quantum perspective, creation of all things is creator, and Alcyon is a part of that. And in Alcyon is huge light codes. For those of you who understand Schumann resonance and a hiring of frequency and the vibrational reality, Schumann resonance has been going nuts for years, and now it is going through the roof. And it is. And the Schumann resonance experts, you won't hear this in the nightly news, by the way, and there's a very good reason for that. We need to wake up to why we don't get told about what's really going on. Okay, so with the Schumann resonance and the frequency heightening, it's because we, planet Earth, and our galaxy, our solar system, is in the photon belt. We are right in the photon belt. Now that's been going on for a few years, but it's getting brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. We are literally in this photon belt. So what happens in this photon belt? We're in there for 2,000 years, right? But we're in it. Now what's happening with this photon belt is so much light is pouring onto planet Earth. What does light do? It shows up everything that's in the shadows. Everything that's been dark is now illuminated. This is why you are seeing things on planet Earth that are insane, nuts. You can't make this stuff up. The stuff that's coming up to the surface, the stuff that's being illuminated. The last few years since the whole, thing has been a massive acceleration in awakening. People are starting to get the lampshade off their head and go, oh my God, I am understanding the reality about what's been going on planet Earth. Now, what has been going on planet Earth, you may have thought it's just your personal experience. It's not. It's the entire experience has been 3D narcissism, which is power over. Okay, which is exactly the narcissistic playbook, which is I am going to take away your power. I'm going to make you think that you're small and helpless and powerless, and you are going to bow to me because I own you, and you're going to do what I say, and therefore I will give you love, approval, security, or survival, or what you think is that. Or like a carrot, I'm going to keep promising you that. But what I'm actually doing is sucking you dry. Welcome to planet Earth. I'm just saying it how it is. Now, for so many of us, we think it's normal because that's all we've ever known. I want to tell you things like dis-ease, things like separation consciousness, things like being pitted all against each other continuously, war. That is not normal. It's not who we are. It's not where we're going. And we have been stuck in that. Now, all of you here, on a personal level, absolutely you've been subject to narcissistic abuse. So it's been up close and personal what's been happening collectively as well. And what we all did in narcissistic abuse is we handed over our power to, at an unconscious level, playing out our limits and our traumas and our fears, trying to stay safe, our survival programs. We've handed over our power to sociopathic, psychopathic people who are empty, dark, parasitical, who were never had our best interests at heart, were always about mining our energy, our resources for their own agendas, and we got desecrated. That's what happened. Now we're waking up. And we're waking up in our 5D reality to shift out of fear into taking back our true selves and our true lives. The great news is the light is winning. And I'm not just saying this as some metaphor or cliche or glib thing. It literally is. And it's cyclical and nothing can stop it. Because in this photon belt, what happens is as the light streams in powerful light codes, what is not of the light cannot exist in that light. Think about it like pure physics. If you turn a light on in a room, the darkness is gone. Now, what happens is this is a process of cleansing, releasing, healing, and coming back online because we've been dumb and numb, and that has been purposeful. Those of you, I'll touch on this, those of you who understand the deeper truths about Atlantis and Lemuria, and we have been 12-strand DNA humans where we were absolutely activated But when all that fell, ever since, for thousands of years, we've been deactivated back to 2 strands. That's why we have all this junk DNA that scientists go, I don't know what it is. It's been shut down. So that we got cut off from God, from knowing that we're in oneness, that we are made in the image and the likeness and we have the capacity. We've been closed down from that. We felt in the dark. And think about this. When our galaxy and our solar system has been out of that photon belt, it's been in the dark. Now it's in the photon belt, we're in the light. So everything's being illuminated. What's happening to us is our DNA strands are waking up. We're coming back online. Those of you who know this, who are doing your ascension, you're conscious of this. Others that not, let me put this to you. Are you having synchronicities right now where you're finishing people's sentences for them, that you think of somebody and then they contact you immediately? You are having deja vus. You are having these psychic little experiences that are getting commonplace in your life. It's because you have DNA telepathic strands that are waking up. And you are waking up to Christ consciousness. Now, I'm not talking about Christ in a religious sense. I mean, I love the whole Jesus parable and totally believe he was an ascended master that walked this planet, who raised the frequency and the grid lines for all of humanity for a path to follow 100%. And I love that consciousness. But what I'm talking about is the Christ within, that we have the ability to be the light, the Christed ones that actually get out of this whole thing about being dominated, owned, pushed under and subjugated to our own imprisonment through narcissists. We now have the chance to get out of that and step up and take it back. We're right in it. This is the most exciting time to be alive. It looks like garbage out there. But what happens when? What's happening with this light stream is narcissistic people are people who don't take responsibility, who blame everybody else, who are parasitical, who are not in their heart space in service to others at all. It's all about them. So they are way, way down on the scale of evolution. They are massively third dimensional, which means fear, pain, battle, me versus you. I'm in lack and I do whatever I have to survive. That's a narcissist. They're completely 3D. So in this light that's streaming down and it's triggering them, they are in a shocking place. Narcissists are freaking out. I mean that. They are freaking out. They are rattling, their wounds are coming up, their unhealed traumas, the stuff they won't take responsibility and face, it is smashing them to bits. So therefore, what you are seeing is people that are in manipulation and mind games and inauthenticity. They're not humble. They are popping. Have you got people around you right now that are just acting out? Say yes in the chat if that's you. I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm seeing it in my life. I'm seeing it in this entire community with my students, with my clients. It's 100% correct. Okay, so you're seeing this. And also too, you might have connections and relationships in your life that you thought were a certain thing, and now you are seeing, nah, I've seen stuff about you and your behavior and your intentions that are really dark. I never saw that about you, but now I've seen it, right? And you're also seeing people that are going to try and take from you. They're not going to take responsibility. They're going to blame you. They're going to project onto you. What do you do in this? You have to detach. You cannot save somebody who's not saving themselves. You cannot heal somebody. You cannot help somebody who's not going to take responsibility for their own inner stuff. Okay? I'm back. This is a very important conversation, so it's kind of no wonder that, you know, it's going to be hard to do a transmission on it, I think. Yeah. All right. So. All right, I just put the light on again. What to do? Narcissistic people are going to be popping in your life. Other people may be popping in your life. And they're not necessarily narcissistic, but maybe they're 3D. We call them normies affectionately. And there are some people that are not conscious that are still beautiful, heart-centered people. And I really want you to know this is what I believe. I believe 3D is not going to be able to survive here ultimately. I don't know whether that's going to be the next year or two. I don't know whether it's going to be the next 25 years. I think it's coming sooner rather than later. Another reason I think it's coming sooner rather than later is on the 20th of this month, Pluto goes into Aquarius. Pluto's been in Capricorn for about 12, 13 years. Planetary cycles are intense. It's all connected. It's all energetic. Okay? It's galactic. So what's been going on with Pluto and Capricorn, the intensity and advancements and technology, you think about what's happened in the last 12, 13 years in as far as technology and advancement goes. It's skyrocketed, hasn't it? It's also death, rebirth, it's power, it can be control, right? And in Capricorn, it's been the hegemony, it's been the organizations, it's been the structures at the top. It's been the inverted pyramid where you've had elites at the top, unelected, a lot of them, controlling what the world does. And then you've got, you know, countries, etc., people right at the bottom with no rights and got annihilated. They're saying we're God. We are the God kings of this planet. That's been Pluto and Capricorn. Now, what happens, and we're in the photon belt, we're in a 25,000 year cycle, we're actually in a whole other cycle, which is a few million year cycle. We're in a smaller cycle. We've got about 4 cycles that are all right here, right now. We're in the photon belt. And also too, we are going into officially, I believe, the age of Aquarius on the 20th of January, because Pluto goes fully into Aquarius. And I'm getting goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps. So what that means is power, intensity, transformation, death, rebirth, growth, power goes back to the people. Aquarius is unity consciousness. It's for the greater good of all, rather than, you know, lies and propaganda about the greater good, but it's actually about fueling a hegemony. So this is 5D. It's in 2 days. It's in 2 days. It goes into Aquarius. This is huge. Now, I didn't realize when I set this up. I didn't. Love, Health, Wealth, my Super Thrive class starts in the age of Aquarius, the 12-month personal coaching I'm doing with people. If you are interested at all, just write interested in the chat and I'll send you a message about it. It's happening in 2 days. Okay, so where does this leave all of us? The greatest thing that I'm interested in is ascension for myself personally and for the work that I'm doing on this planet. And the reason I am is because about raising consciousness out of fear, trauma, pain, regret, stuckedness, lack, to be able to sit on the throne of who and what we are as humans, an expansion into God source created consciousness, to be able to be flourished and nourished and in well-being, and be able to activate our DNA to know who we are, to get out from under the boot of where we've been living, to be able to know that there is plenty, that there doesn't have to be war and famine and disease, and we can all come together for the betterment of humanity in ways that are going to flourish and nourish and free all of us. We are in the most exciting time to be alive. And as a channel years ago, 30 years ago, I knew this was coming. I didn't know when. I didn't know if it was my son's lifetime or my lifetime, but I knew it was coming. And I knew with the harmonic convergence and a few other events, I knew it was coming. I still didn't know when it was coming. 4 years ago, a couple of days in on the Dark Ones making their move, I knew within 2 days, this is it. And the reason that happened, a power grab that was huge, global, was because of what they knew was coming. And what they know is coming is a raising of consciousness where they can no longer be here. And what they needed to do to try and beat the timeline is keep everybody in so much trauma and pain that we weren't going to ascend. Now, the interesting thing is, the harder the darkness pushes, the more the light bursts forth, because you cannot stop creation. You cannot stop light. You cannot stop life. And everything that has happened is anti-life. It's not life. And that's what the dark ones do. That's what narcissists do. They are anti-life. They're like a black hole that sucks galactic energy, destroys it, and still stays a black hole. It's insatiable. It can never be filled. And that's what narcissism is. And that's what's been in control of this planet for thousands of years, actually. Ever since Atlantis fell 5,000 years ago, it's all been going on. Now we're putting it up the right way. We're getting the pyramid right, where we're getting source creation, creator of all that is, higher self, the infinite mind at the top with us, because we are a fractal of that. We are made in the image and likeness. We are sourcing, God's Godding, made in the same DNA makeup. And then we have communities and societies and countries, and then, you know, power back to God, source, creator, and the people. And that's unity consciousness. And that's where we're going. This is going to end. So it's the most exciting time to be alive. Now, you may be saying, I do believe there's going to be a split. There's a grand bifurcation of 3D, 5D. I don't want to scare people. I just believe that if people are stuck in 3D, they're not going to make it. The vibration is going to be too powerful. The light code's too much. The shadows are going to erupt too much. And if we don't turn within and do the inner work and take responsibility, well, it's going to become unbearable. There are going to be people that will exit because they just can't stand to live here. I don't believe narcissists are going to be able to exist here. I actually don't. I really don't. I'm already seeing a lot of them exit. They're not making it. So what does it mean for us? You know, if you're a good person, and I believe that the Ascension criteria is that if you're a good person and you care about others, then you're going to make it. But it's like, who are you going to be when you make it? You know, obviously, if we've still got our traumas and we've got the parts where we've been infected by diseased dark others and they've implanted their darkness into us, well, it's all getting triggered. You know, so many of us are having shame attacks, or we're feeling powerless, or we're getting breakdowns in our life because we're waking up to ye are creator, and you are the emotional, somatic, limbic system reality of whatever you're creating. And if you change your inner world, your outer world is going to change beyond description. Now, as a quantum healer, I've been seeing the accelerations and the ascensions that are happening in people's life now, where miracles are happening because of people doing the inner work. That is mind-blowing. It happens in my life every single time I have a quandary or something that is beyond me, and virtually everything is beyond me, as in my mind, my personality. It follows my trauma. It doesn't give me access to the field, to miracle and solution and synchronicity and up-leveling and up-shifting. But if I let go and bring these light codes in, which are awakening my DNA back to my true self, well, then the miracles in my life are unlimited, and I'm living that life. And I'm seeing it happen in other people's lives. Because that veil between who you're being and what you're getting is becoming so thin that we're stepping in to create our fifth dimensional reality. So the real question is, what are we creating? Are we creating from our traumas, or are we creating from our liberated light codes? If you're a good person, you're going to be able to hang around. But it's like, am I still hanging around with my traumas? Or
am I going to go for gold? Because when we get through this shift, whether it's going to take, I don't think anybody knows the timing really. Is it going to be 2050? Is it going to be the next couple of years? I know it's in fast speed acceleration, 100%. I know that. And what's time? Is it 20 years? Is it 2 years? Is it 3 months before we get a massive next shift? I don't know. But what I do know is what's going to be here in this fifth dimensional upgrade is good people, heart-centered people interested who don't want war, who don't want separation, who don't want disease, who want unity, consciousness and health for everybody. We're all going to be good people. The question is, are you going to be activated into your true role, your true soul mission for these times or not? And also too, in the transition, because let's get real, when you have a shift of eras, the old has got to break for the new to come up. So our old 3D structures that have been based on hegemony and control and sickness and disease and separation and war, they're breaking. They're all breaking. And those systems are going to break. So as we create new earth, and we're already doing it, where your soul is already saying to you, where do you need to be? Where are you going to go? Who are you going to be? There are already grassroots movements that are based in 5D, that are on empowered healing and empowered structures and systems and empowered teaching, rather than the models that we've had, that the darkness has ramped up over the last few years and in your face so much that if you're not seeing it, I don't know what rock you're living under if you can't see what's going on. And it's exposed because it's like a dying beast putting its horns down and charging. That's why it's there for all to see. But it's dying, it's breaking, and our new 5D world is coming through. We are going to see the end of narcissism. This is all about narcissism. All about narcissism. And we're going into unity consciousness, which is the exact opposite of narcissism. Narcissism is, I'm separated from God's source, I'm separated from you, it's all about me, and I have to deny God because I'm God, and I'm going to take everything from you because I see you as an outer object, and therefore that's how I can destroy you, because you don't have anything to do with me. Whereas unity consciousness is source, God, prime creator, ourselves and all of us are one. And the reason why I can't do that to you is because I'd be doing it to myself. In that shift of consciousness, which is 5D, in this photon belt, anything not of that cannot exist. It's going, it's ending. So, this is why I'm jumping on, because I'm so excited, right? I'm so excited. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm cool for this. I don't want the old system. I don't want to live in a cage. I don't want a boot on my head. I don't want to be in a world as a sensitive empath when I'm feeling the mass killings and the destruction and humans being used as cannon fodder and all the disgusting things that have gone on this planet, and so many people have got their head up their ass and going, well, I don't give a shit because nothing's happening to me. I don't want a world like that, right? I'm not going to live like that. And that's why I am so excited to quantumly be on the front line and go, let's all get our heads out of our asses. Let's get out of our trench. Let's stand up. Let's take our power back, and let's help emotionally, energetically, quantumly do our bit to help liberate this. And in the meantime, we get to be liberated ourselves. We get to be free. And that's the greatest thing for me, is to be free, to be myself. Because you know what, you starseeds, you will understand this. Back in Lemuria, Atlantis. Those of you who got really triggered over the last few years and felt like you were freaking out and you couldn't even understand why, it's because of soul memory. Soul memory, last time it wasn't time yet. The darkness overtaken took it down and we got shut down and annihilated. We did, right? We weren't in the photon belt. Now we're in the photon belt. You know what? It's a different game this time. It's a different game. And there's nothing they can do. They can try, and they are, and there are dear souls that are suffering and departing and not making it, but they're a part of this ascension, and at a soul level they chose to be a part of this, and also too they're a part of waking up everybody who needs to wake up. So this is a process, right? But we are on the quantum train. I've never felt so excited my whole life. And when, you know, I knew that the Pluto thing was switching over, and I've been really busy, and, you know, I'm getting ready to onboard Super Thrive and and everything else I've been doing, and restructuring MTE, and I'm so called in so many different areas of my life right now that I am just following the voice. I'm stepping up. I am doing it. I am on call to source, and that's what I'm doing. So I've been really busy, but anyway, it crossed my path last night. I'd already set up this. I already wanted to talk about the photon belt. I wanted to talk about how narcissism has come into play with everything that's going on in the world and with us and people around us now with their shadows. If they're not taking responsibility for their shadows, they are being narcissistic, right? And we can do it too. If we're going into defenses, if we're attacking, if we're not being kind, if we're not being heart-centered, if we're not being empathetic, if we're not walking in other people's shoes in unity consciousness and realizing how our behavior is, we are being narcissistic. So we've really got to let go of darkness and let in light and be humble. You know that expression, the meek will inherit the earth? Now you know why. And meek is not weak. Meek is strong. Defenses are the weakest people here because they do not have the guts to face their stuff. We don't have time to mess around anymore. We got to go, right? And that's what this is about. So I hope you feel what I'm saying. All right, has anybody got any questions about this? And I'm just, while you're putting up questions, I'm just going to have a look at my notes. Actually 15 years, I think it is, that Pluto was in Capricorn. We've been in a pretty intense place for 15 years. Okay, so positive, and it is a different game, totally different game. And yeah, Nancy, because I do quantum freedom healings and I see the light codes that are coming in, especially when we get together in groups, like we're doing the shifts happen healings every week, the light codes are so powerful. I've had to shift to hold the light to be able to do the global healings because it's almost like my physical body disintegrates in the light and I'm just a full light body. I'm not even a body anymore. I'm like, how can the light not be winning when it is that intense? It's just incredible. It's go time. It is go time. Can you speak to the implication for our beautiful planet of Ascension? Yes, Nicola, I'd love to. Our planet's fine. Our planet is fine, right? It has been, oh God, I could go into a conversation that'll get me nuked immediately. I'm not going to talk about it on Facebook. I can't, right? I'll be deplatformed. Definitely in Love, Health, Wealth, when we get on Zooms, I can go for my life. What you've been taught and told about the planet, a lot of it's garbage. It's been the poisoning that's gone on, food, water, air, etc. That is creating the problems massively. And once narcissistic structures can no longer be in place, the planet's fine. And I promise you that the healing and the ascension of the planet can rewrite itself with consciousness so quickly. Don't worry about our planet, okay? But a lot of what you think is going on is engineered catastrophe. Massively. Okay, feels like my soul is fighting my dark side lately. Barbara, that's happening for everybody. And I've been doing more quantum freedom healing shifts than I normally would have to do in this process because of the light codes that are coming in that are triggering, you know, things like shame, feeling like you're not good enough. Also because of disconnections with people and, you know, distancing from people and not yoking with them anymore in lower consciousness, which is fine. You know, bless them, love them. But then you can blame yourself and, you know, is there something wrong with me? And all of that stuff. I've been shifting a lot of stuff. And the more I shift and the more light codes I get in, the more I'm stepping up vibrationally, the more my intuition is activated. You know, like in, we did a NAPA Q&A just before this, and the voice is just speaking to me with such crystal clear intuition tuning into people. I've always had it, but it's just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. I'm getting led more. It's just amazing. A lot of undeservedness feeling, Sina. Yeah, that's the shame that's coming up, you know. And in this community, we are so blessed to have quantum freedom healing, which is the tool to easily, within a 7-minute shift, target trauma, release it, and replace it with light codes. Years and years ago, when I channeled quantum freedom healing to save my life from a brain breakdown, you know, medical conditions that I was told I'd never be able to heal through trauma, and they just started healing, I didn't know back then that this was going to be such a powerful tool to go from 3D to 5D, to let go of trauma and replace it with light codes and heal and vibrationally raise. Right. Okay, so your intuition's ramping up. Had a lot of undeservedness feelings, a lot of guilt and disease, vivid strange dreams. All of that is on schedule. This is what's happening. Any shadows? And think of it like this. It's like, you know, when you play a computer game, you have to get through challenges and then you get awarded superpowers for the next level. So our dark, dense traumas, our 3D self, is now all coming up to be shed, to be let go of, to be released, to get the light codes in so that we get the superpowers for the next level that we're going into, which is higher challenges, but also greater rewards. And not just for ourselves, for the whole collective and our planet. I need help with unblocking. I've been through into the spiral of survival mode. Yeah. So, Phillips, Tiffany, are you working with quantum freedom healing? Okay. Anybody who's not working with quantum freedom healing and you want to know more about it, I want you to write QFH in the chat and we'll get some information to you. QFH. Okay. All right. So write that and I'll send you a message about more. You can also, you know, look it up. My name, Melanie Tonia Evans, Quantum Freedom Healing. Read up about it. The traumas that I had, because I nearly died, I had a cerebral breakdown. I had adrenal malfunction. I was told I'd need 3 antipsychotics for the rest of my life to even be able to function, and I'd never function as normal. If it had not been for quantum freedom healing, I wouldn't have lived, let alone be the person I am today and the person I keep ascending into, because my mind couldn't let go of my traumas. I had to do it with an energetic quantum tool, which is so simple when you understand how to use it. Okay? All right. So I'll get some information to you guys. All right. So did I make sense with this talk? Does it make sense? Oh, good point. You know, people may feel like, am I the narcissist? And that's your darkness and your shadows coming up, and also those lack of deservedness. And am I evil? Am I bad? Am I wrong? They're all very normal feelings, okay? And we've been programmed into Munchausen's disease on this planet, where we've thought that we're worthless, we're sinners, we're bad, we're evil, we're small, we're powerless, we're useless. You know, we've been programmed with these messages from birth, from other people that were programmed with those messages, because the 1% did not want you to know that you are a fractal of source made in the image and likeness, that you are a light body, that you are love, that you are expansion, you are power, you are a creator, you are free. They didn't want you to know any of that. Have a look at the world and the way we live. Do you really think that this has been evolved? Do you think that this has been healthy? I promise you, aliens would ride past here, look down and just shake their head and laugh. We are in kindergarten, and we've been stuck in kindergarten for a long time on purpose. Back in Atlantis, we were 5D. We were already activated. Okay, we were already galactic. And we got taken down by very dark forces that submerged us into the dark ages. And we've been stuck there ever since, no matter what you think we have. So now it's being put back the right way. And a lot of you were there, by the way. You were there. Right? We're winning. We're going to win. Who are you going to be through this photon belt? It's a little bit like a spaceship if it was coming into Earth, going through, we're going through, right? And what will happen is we'll be able to be we've got 2,000 years of this, so it's not going away. But what will happen is you'll be able to be in the photon belt of the light, because you've let go of your traumas and you're light filled. So you're going from a dense carbon existence of separation consciousness and disease and famine and war and disease in your body, to a light body, which is crystalline, where I am a source of my own activation, healing, expansion and magnificence. And in a humble way, because in a humble way, it's not about me, it's about the all, and I am a part of the all. More than 2,000 years, I'm not quite sure. And do you know what else I've heard? I don't know, I can't verify this, but this is what I've heard, and it resonates with me, that where we have been before the photon belt in the dark ages, very hard for ascension to happen in the last apparently 25,000 years. We've all been stuck on the karmic reincarnation wheel on planet Earth because of the traumas and the darkness. So whatever, and I was a past life regression therapist for 20 years before I started doing quantum freedom healing work, which was like getting out of a sedan into a Ferrari with the way that we can heal. But this was information. Information is not transformation, but it's interesting. So what I discovered when I was doing past life regressions on people, that we would target the lifetime that was relating to their battle now. And what I discovered through past life regression is if you die with trauma on board, you reincarnate into the same matrix of that dark trauma to hopefully free yourself from it that lifetime, which means I let it go, I reconnect back to the light, and I move from karmic repercussion to grace, to a higher trajectory, a higher vibrational reality. Now, if we don't do the inner work, we don't do that. So what I've heard through a channel, and it does resonate with me, over the last 25,000 years, because we've been in so much darkness and people haven't been doing light code work and maybe couldn't access it, there is very few ascendant masters that got off planet Earth, this prison planet where we've been stuck in karmic repercussion. Apparently around 300 people were able to get up and out of here. Whereas now, because Earth itself is going 5D and we've got the light codes evolving and ascending Earth and everything and everybody on it who will be able to remain here, we're getting out of jail. This time. Now. Right? It's so interesting. And the bar was so high before, right? It was so hard to do. To be enough of a light frequency within the darkness to transcend out of here. Now, everybody's got the possibility, unless you are firmly a dark soul who refuses to take responsibility, wants to stay a victim, blame everybody else, and hate your life. And then what happens is you're going to keep reincarnating back into 3D realities over and over and over and over and over and over again until you decide to ascend. When I had my breakdown and my brain broke and the voice in the channel fully stepped in, I'd had it since a little girl, and then I shut it down and had snippets of it, and now I live with it every day, and it's just getting more and more and more. But when that happened, I knew that if I exited, because I was planning that when my brain broke, I'm like, it's time to go. There's no fixing this. I knew from a regression perspective I'd have to come back and repeat it, but I'm like, it's gone too far. I can't, there's nowhere to heal now. I'm done, right? And the voice told me and showed me how, where, and what I needed to orientate myself towards, and that led to all of this. But I knew, and it said, yeah, you can leave if you want, like it's your choice. Or this can be your future. And I knew if I didn't get it done, I just have to keep doing it. I'm like, I cannot do any more of this. And I knew, and I'd had visions in past life regression. I'd had about 12 lifetimes in a row of handing my power away, being owned and ruled and losing myself and my light ripped out of me and destroyed. I'd had it happen 11 lifetimes in a row. This one, it nearly happened again. And I only reversed it when there was nothing left. So now we can do it. We're in the photon belt. We can do it so much more easily. Okay. Okay, I did one section of your quantum healing, Mel. It made me feel so good. Denise, it's like a daily thing, like brushing your teeth. Whenever you feel dense energy now, let it go, bring in the light, because you're just going to get through this and you're just going to feel good and you're going to expand and you're going to... We are in, at the moment, a house falling down, the old structures. You want to be in the room that stands strong, and the room that stands strong is inside of you. That's what quantum freedom healing grants you. Okay, Nicola, is going beyond the binary part of Ascension into 5D. Is that why there's so much gender dysphoria right now? Gender dysphoria is a program thing, which is all about an elite depopulation agenda. Okay? It's to destroy the family unit, and to destroy home, and it also puts the state in control of people who are in a mess, not knowing who they are, and they can be easily controlled and programmed. And also too, it fuels the medical establishment and constabulary, and it also creates a state to be able to indoctrinate children into all sorts of confusion and pain and mental disease to make them numb and dumb, so that they're going to be powerless for what the constabulary would like to do. There's been like, in the last 3 years, most countries, like an 8,000% increase, because it's shoved down every child's throat by the time they're about 4 years of age. That's why it's happening. It's not natural. Yes. Yes. Yes, careful about being banned. Yes. I tried not to use keywords there. I'm in module 10 in the self-empowerment course. It's amazing. Well done, Susan. Yeah, it's I'm glad you're loving the Empowered Self course. It's a really beautiful step after NARP. Okay, so guys, I'm going to get off. Just a quick reminder again, if you want to know more about QFH, put QFH, because it is my Ascension tool of choice. And also too, those of you who are really, if you want to do personal coaching with me in an intimate group of Super Thrivers, Super Thrive this year, 2024, is an ascended frequency above wherever it's been, because that's my growth. Also too, the healings that have been written into Love, Health, Wealth, Super Thrive this year are 3 and 3, source healing and goal setting. We used to just do 3. They're higher frequency light codes to shift you higher and further. And I'm super excited about it. It's starting my time, Australia time, 5 a.m. my Sunday. Now, guys, those of you in Super Thrive, I know it's really tough on the Europeans. And I know, you know, the Americans not so much, you know, the US time zone. But my channel really said to me, Mel, you need to be on your game. You need to be intuitively tapping into people with the highest messages for them. You need to be able to shift in these highlight frequencies. And I used to do it from 12 a.m. to 7 a.m. my time. And I did a bloody good job, if I do say so myself. But I know in these frequencies and shifts and light codes now, I've got to be really, really, really switched on to give you the best I've got. So that's why I'm doing it the times I am. Those of you who are going to pick it up on the recording, it's going to be just as powerful. So don't worry about that. We've had super thrivers over the years that I never even met on camera that, you know, we're never in a live session and their lives are amazing. So don't worry about that. And also too, those of you coming on, you don't have to go on camera. I've also had super thrivers that are just kind of sat in the background and been shy, and that's fine too. Whatever feels right for you. But either way, I'm going to be so excited. And also too, as the channelings come through about Ascension and everything, I can speak really openly in Super Thrive and give you all the light codes and the stuff that I'm being told galactically and about Ascension. And what's better is it's not just information. We can do the shifts to raise your frequency there for new earth and new self, God's source creation self. I'm super excited. Oh, photon belt. Adriana, before I go. Okay, it's the light coming from Alcyon, which is the central galactic sun, like the light of our sun. It's a light beam. The photon belt is the light beam. The light beam of Alcyon is a higher density. It's 5th density galactic consciousness, and we're right in it. So that's what's happening to us. All right, you beautiful, beautiful people. If you're interested in Super Thrive, write Super Thrive in the chat, Quantum Freedom Healing, and I'll message you guys and give you some information. I hope that's helped. I hope you have, there's a few things we need. We need faith. I hope you believe the light is winning. I know it is. I hope it's going to be challenging. It's going to be tough. It's going to get rough. Okay? What do dying beasts do? They lash out. It's going to get rough, guys. It is. We have to be strong. We have to be courageous. We have to be upshifted. We have to be full of light. The light's already won. We're just going through the breakdown, breakthrough. The question is, can we midwife our own breakdowns and breakthroughs to make it the most powerful, incredible, prosperous time for ourselves rather than, you know, have to do it the hard way? It's a bit like, you know, when you leave a narcissist, and I help people with this all the time. There's an empowered way to leave into your new order, your new life, and there's a really disintegrating way to leave. Pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. When we do the inner work, our transitions can be incredible. That's what I'm talking about. All right. I love you guys, and I'll answer your stuff in the chat. Have a beautiful day. Have faith. We've got this. We have got this. I love you. Okay. Bye-bye.